All right. Welcome to the inaugural podcast of Too Many Men. I'm Tony Pickenich. Alongside me here is John Gallietta. And his name is Tyler, but we're going to call him Trish.
Everyone else gets a last name but me.
At least you got a nickname.
You want one, John?
I mean, if you're like handing them out, are they free?
I hate John so much. Well, we want to first off by thanking everyone for tuning in. And we also want to first off say that it is very difficult to find the name for a podcast.
Damn near impossible.
Yeah, it's like everyone's taken, isn't it?
Too Many Men was our 35th choice.
It really was.
It's not even an exaggeration. We tried literally every sports term in the book, and here we are with Too Many Men.
I'll be honest, I fought against it, but it's whatever.
John tried to be difficult.
John's a freaking idiot. I'm going to be honest with you.
But here we are. What strides we have made.
We made it.
We did make it. We're finally here.
And now that we are here, so Tony, what do you want to talk about today?
Well, the date is November 27th, 2018. Week 12 of the NFL season has concluded. And I know, speaking as a Giants fan, it was very disappointing.
What a week it was.
As a Jets fan, I can second that
Well,
feeling.
the whole season's been disappointing for you. The last 80 seasons for you have been
You really want to
disappointing.
talk right now, you Giants fan?
I can sum up the whole Jets week in one play. It was when it looked like there was a little bit of hope against a very, very good Patriots team that they don't get enough credit for in this league with Patrick Mahomes tearing it up. It was a close game up until Josh McCown dropped back and under duress threw the ball basically straight up in the air, and it came down at about the Jets' 1 yard line, and it was intercepted. And it was then you knew, this team was just teasing me the whole damn game.
Now listen, Tony, I'm not sure if you're aware, but I actually was at this game, the Jets game. I was at MetLife Stadium.
I saw your Snapchat story, yes.
Well, I'm glad you did, because if you knew that I was there, you would realize that as a Jets fan, I'm used to the crushing disappointment.
And that's all the time we have for John. Thank you, John.
Trish, I was not done.
Well, everything's crushing about being a Jets fan.
That is true.
Everything.
Anyway.
Everybody knows that.
We're going to start off our first episode here by taking a look at Week 12 in the NFL.
Let's do it.
And we're going to start off with John.
All
Is
right.
there any game here that really surprised you about last week?
My Cleveland Browns. Baker Mayfield tearing it up.
His Cleveland Browns.
Your
after just
Cleveland
stating
Browns,
he was a
John.
Jets fan.
That's Staten Island John for you over there.
Now,
Oh,
listen,
see, look, now you got a nickname. And guess
That-
what? It was free, like you wanted it to be before.
Well,
No, actually, he slipped me a 50 when no one was looking.
Wow, he's that desperate, huh?
well, Trish, since
So tell me about your Browns.
the Cleveland
Your
Browns.
Browns.
Well, really, when you look at this game, it was Baker Mayfield's revenge against Hugh Jackson for, in his words, becoming a traitor and joining the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, if you watch this game, did you watch this game, Tony?
Yes, I saw bits and pieces of it.
No.
But trust me, my attention really wasn't tuned into Browns Bengals.
Then may I ask
3
what game
points.
you were paying attention to?
The game that I was paying attention to?
Yeah.
Well, I was paying attention mostly to the Giants game. We don't have to go there yet.
That's true. That's true.
So
No.
tell me about this Browns game that really intrigued you. Because
Well-
I had money on the Browns.
Now, the reason it was so interesting to me was in my fantasy team, I have Deshaun Watson as my starting quarterback, and I have Mayfield on my bench. Now, going into this week, I had Mayfield. I was eyeing him on this matchup against the Bengals because Hugh Jackson and Mayfield, everyone knows all about the reported beef between the two. And so going into it, I was like, okay, the Browns kind of have something to prove against their former head coach.
John, I'm just going to stop you real quick. Did you watch this game?
Did I watch this game?
Yes.
No, I was at the Jets
So
game.
wait
but
a minute. How was this your game that you focused on for the weekend if you didn't even watch this game?
it wasn't the one I focused on, but
Well,
I don't
that's
want.
what I asked you. That's the question I literally asked you. What was the game you focused on? And you picked Browns Bengals.
Listen,
35-20.
let's be honest.
The Browns defeat the Bengals in Cincinnati.
I want to bring up something up really quick, John and Tony. It's completely
Okay.
off topic, but two teams that Tony bet on this weekend: Steelers and the Packers.
Oh, we're gonna get there in a second.
Hold
I
on.
have my rant.
Have you seen the scores of both games are
Yes.
identical? 24-17 on the
Yes.
team that Tony did not bet on.
Well, I
That is
took
something.
the points with the Steelers, but it still wasn't enough because they were losing 3.5.
It was a rough
It was
game.
even worse.
It was a real rough game.
Tell me about it. I couldn't even get a push.
Nope.
Instead, Ben Roethlisberger on the 2-yard line with 15 seconds left in the fourth quarter throws
Throws a pick.
to a defensive lineman.
Beautiful pick too. It was fantastic.
We'll get there. So tell me more about this Browns game, John.
Well, if you paid attention to the game, now I was at the Jets-Patriots game, like I said.
Uh-huh.
But let's be honest, like most people in the stadium, I tuned out by halftime for that. So the entire second half.
John, what was the score at halftime? It was only a 14-point game.
But if you watch the game every time, every single drive on offense, the Patriots were just marching down that field. Absolutely.
You say 14 points, like that's not a lot in football.
Well, given the skill of the two teams, it's really not that much.
Skill
It's only 2 possessions.
Of the Jets
Versus the Patriots. I mean, like
versus
sure,
their
they're not-
rival, the Patriots.
Like this, let's go look at the Tennessee game down here. That's a 3-possession game, and I think Tennessee beat the Patriots.
Tennessee was a playoff team last year, so it's kind of
Okay.
surprising.
Yeah, but so was Buffalo. So
hey, what are you trying to say about Buffalo?
they're
huh?
not that good.
Hey, they're breaking tables, all
they
right?
blew out the Jets.
They did blow out the Jets behind Matt Barkley.
Breaking tables would have been a good name.
Shut up.
Is
So,
it my
Tony.
turn yet?
No.
Or is he going to still
We're
babble
we're
about
still
the
watching
Browns?
John babble about the Browns here.
Now, if you watch, the Browns came out with this energy in the first half, at least, where they had something to prove. I believe the score at halftime was something crazy, like 28-0. Now, in the second half,
I'm gonna fact check that.
Go ahead.
Why
fact-check it.
fact check
I
it?
d- But if you watch the second half, you notice that the momentum, they pretty much just took their foot off the gas. The Bengals had, I believe, 3 touchdowns in that half, and like this final score was like 35. Am I wrong? Wait, what was the final score?
35-20 is right there.
35-20. So, I mean, they didn't come all the way back, but
The
it
score,
was
the
still.
score at the half was 28-7.
John's not paying attention to anything.
John has no idea what's going on.
Staten Island John stays on the island, doesn't leave ever. Just barely pays
It has
attention
come
to
to my
anything.
attention
All right,
that I might have been wrong.
what's your final take on this Browns game? Do you think the Browns have turned a corner and they can make a push for a playoff spot? Give me a hot take about the Browns, John.
I'm going to say the Browns, I mean, at least compared to some of the other people in the race, their schedule versus like a team like the Colts, they have the advantage. So they could, if they went out feasibly, they could make the playoffs. I'm saying it right here on Too Many Men, the first episode.
You know the Colts currently don't hold a playoff spot, right?
I'm saying the playoff race, the wild card position is like real tight right now. I don't know if you've seen the records. If you want to like
I have.
direct your attention to the standings.
I
right
have.
over
I
there.
have seen the records, and if you look
Yeah.
at the little section that says "in the hunt" down there, Cincinnati's ahead of them.
But if you scroll down, they have the same record. All those teams have the same exact record.
This is
And the Browns play the Bengals again.
well, the Browns gonna fall off the pace here, especially with Andy Dalton being out for the season. But the Browns at 4-6-1, I believe, do not have a fighting chance of making the playoffs this year.
You never know. The Broncos and Titans. You really think they're not gonna like collapse?
The Broncos? I don't think the Broncos really have that much of a chance either. I think it's gonna be Indianapolis.
I don't see the Ravens staying at the pace that they're currently
No,
in with Lamar Jackson.
No, they're going to be good, but I think the Colts are better, and the Colts will pass them in the last 4 weeks here.
I mean, that's up to you if you think the Colts
Well,
offensive line could keep at it. But
Okay.
anyway,
all right. John,
Tony,
thank you for
you
your.
had something to say about the Giants Eagles game.
Well, I'm
didn't
gonna
you?
go to Trish now.
Yeah, my
What
turn.
you got to say,
Trish,
Trish?
what do you have to say
Oh,
here, bud?
sweet deal. I'm gonna
Week
talk
12.
about a couple games that I've noticed on this board. I'm gonna be honest right now. Didn't watch that much football this weekend.
Didn't think you did.
Watched about 3 games.
What games?
I
were
saw
What games did you watch?
What games
parts
did you
of the
watch?
Steelers game.
Mm-hmm.
That was
Saw
here.
parts
wasn't
of the
it?
Packers game.
Wait a minute. By parts of the Steelers game, you saw like the last 4 minutes.
Yeah,
at my house.
with Tony. Tony the tech guy over there. Yeah, we were with him. I was with him watching the Packers game, and I saw a little bit of. Can you go back? Oh, thank you. I saw a bit of the. Where is it? The 49ers game.
Where did you see any of the 49ers game? I don't think
Why-
Red Zone
May I
even
ask
showed it.
why you were watching
Don't
the
worry about
49ers play the Buccaneers of all teams?
Well, I love Fitzmagic, and anytime I think he's going to get in the game, I'm interested.
He did not get in the
Fortunately,
game.
he
He
did
did not
not
play.
get in the game, but I thought he might, so I turned it on for a minute, and he wasn't in it, so I shut it off.
Ladies and gentlemen, what he means by watching the game, he flipped on the channel, saw the quarterback was not number 14 in white
That may be true.
or in red, and flipped right back to whatever he was watching before.
I cannot confirm nor deny that that is true.
That's definitely what happened.
But I want to just say that 49ers game was a blowout. They lost by a lot, 27-9. Not a good effort by the 49ers. They've been shit pretty much since Kaepernick. Sorry, that's my bad. Kavanaugh is the judge. That's a different story. Ever since Kaepernick left.
Hot take. Should the Giants sign Kaepernick? What do we think?
No one wants Kaepernick. He's a horrible person. He knelt for the for the anthem. And yeah, that's my opinion on it. I don't care.
Do you have anything else to say about the
Yes,
games?
I have so much more to say.
Why?
I
What?
thought the Steelers game was super disappointing because my great-grandfather is a giant Steelers fan. And he was probably at home having a heart attack because they were losing. And I also want to say that I thought the Packers game was a huge letdown. Aaron Rodgers comes out in the first quarter and looks absolutely phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
Like nothing can stop him, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, he just starts just bombed for no
Yeah.
reason.
That's coaching.
Come on there.
It is coaching. Mike McCarthy's a terrible coach.
Fire
on,
He
Mike
will be
McCarthy,
fired by the end
everyone.
of the season.
Spread the word.
Is that all you have to say?
No, I want to say more because
Okay.
John had a really long time to babble about a whole bunch of nothing, so
No,
it's my
a whole
turn.
bunch of nothing. It was one game. He couldn't get the words out because he didn't even watch the damn game.
I understand
I
that. You
looked
know
at-
what I'm going to talk about? A
Did
game
you
I didn't
that
watch.
damn game?
I'm going to talk about, I don't know, the Bills game because I don't know anything about it. 24-21, pretty close game. I'm going to say the Bills won it in the last couple seconds of the game. Would I be
Bills
right?
had a 10-point lead going into the 10 minutes left of the fourth quarter.
Damn, they let up a lot of
Jaguars
points.
then walked down the field, scored a touchdown, which made it a 3-point game, and the Bills were able to close it out.
Nah, that's that ex-Giants head coach for you.
So does that mean you watched
He's
the
the
Jags?
president of football operations. He's not even the head coach of the Jags.
That's not what I'm talking about. I'm saying he.
John, what did you just ask me?
Does that mean you watched the Jags Bills game?
I had
How do you know
NFL
this?
Red Zone on, man, and I had very, very high betting interest in this game as I bet the under, which was 36.5 points. It didn't materialize.
Yeah,
So I feel like that's a good segue.
I thought it was real promising when it was 17-14 to start the fourth quarter.
I would have bet the over. To be honest,
I
myself.
wouldn't have, and I didn't because
Myself.
the Jaguars were 30th in the league in points scored, and the Bills were 28th.
Can we just talk about the text that just popped up on the screen? Tony, did you pay your tuition for this semester?
I have not done it yet. Oh, and the screen's gone dark.
That is
Oh,
a
boy.
problem.
It's a huge problem, actually.
It's not that big of a deal. I can just guess.
Guess what? There's
The
nothing
scores.
to guess. Okay. Well, I want to talk about.
I want to guess. Can I
Yeah.
guess?
I
Guess
feel
what?
like what Tony was saying before it makes a good segue for the sports bets you were mentioning before, Trish.
Can I just talk about the damn Giants?
No, you may not. No one cares about your pick on the Giants.
My-
Giants lost in the last
I
couple
bet
seconds.
on the Giants.
Sucked.
Yeah, I figured you would.
Everyone was
I
upset.
had money on the New York Giants winning outright. Didn't happen. Who would have thought? If you looked
I
at
would've
that
thought.
team in the first half of that game, they looked like a Super Bowl contender. They were running all over the Philadelphia Eagles. Saquon Barkley had over 100.
Yep, you and I both know who's running all over the field. It's only Saquon.
Mhm.
No one else has helped. Just
Sa-
Saquon.
and Saquon Barkley just absolutely disappeared from the New York Giants game plan in the second half.
Yep.
They did not give the ball to him. They were not throwing the ball to him out in the flat. I want to blame this loss on play calling because I don't know how somebody has that dominant of a first half, then you just don't even look at
I'm
them.
going to make a guess here. Eli Manning just decided, you know what? this kid's getting too much attention. I want to throw the ball a little more. And that,
he was throwing it enough already.
Whenever you feel like that, it's downhill from there.
So you think Eli's the problem?
No, I didn't say that. I said Eli was the problem in that game. I think Eli should retire after this season. And that's also a hot pick. Eli is going to either retire after this season or play another 4 seasons and just drag his career out.
You literally can't be on more opposite ends of the spectrum than that statement right there.
Into the ashes of his career. He's going to make the Giants pay him more money, and then he will retire.
You heard it here first. The Giants are offering Eli Manning the max.
That wouldn't surprise me.
Could you imagine?
Like I was saying it. What if the Giants somehow went on this miracle run and made the playoffs? It would literally be the worst thing of all time for the Giants cap hit because they would literally throw money at him because of it.
If the Giants make the playoffs, they're winning the Super Bowl. I just want to say that right now.
I'm 100% serious that, like, if the Giants, before this game, if they were to win out, I would have bet money on Eli carrying that team to a Super Bowl. If they made it to that playoffs.
I'm going to tell you right now, they still can. If they make it to the playoffs.
Okay, but you have to admit that
Dak
losing
Prescott
this game
would have to do
kind
what happened to Alex Smith. He'd need to snap his leg. So would Carson Wentz.
If the Giants
planes would have to crash.
Make it into the playoffs, they are going to win the Super Bowl.
Literally,
and that is a guarantee.
Okay, that's one of Trish's. That's Trish's first guarantee of the show. That
if
the currently 3-8 New York Giants win out, go 8-8, and somehow that's enough for a playoff spot. I'm guessing they win the division at 8-8. Is that what you're saying?
I don't know about win the division at 8-8. I'm gonna say just make the playoffs.
So either a wild card or winning the division outright at 8-8. The 8-8 New York Giants will then. Well, let's say it's a wild card. They will go to Chicago, beat Chicago. They will go to LA, beat LA, and then they will go to the Superdome and beat the leading MVP candidate, Drew Brees, and the New Orleans Saints at home. And then, to top it all off, they will fly down to Atlanta, take on the high-flying Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes, and then just whoop them.
Patrick Mahomes?
No, hold up 1 second.
I just wanted to get that line
I know you didn't just say the Chiefs are guaranteed a spot in the Super Bowl this year.
Well, unless it's Andy Reid being Andy Reid again and they just can't win the AFC Championship game.
I'll believe the Chiefs making a playoff run when I see them make a playoff run, okay?
Well,
have you seen Patrick Mahomes at any point in this season?
Yeah, I watched him choke away that game versus the Rams at the end.
Wait a minute. Do you believe there's a team in the AFC that could beat the Chiefs at Arrowhead Stadium in January?
I'm just saying the Pats did beat them already once. I won't doubt Brady until I see it.
I think Brady's going to get injured this season.
Or, I don't know. Look at the Texans. Deshaun Watson has shown that whenever he's on primetime, he's got that ability to turn it up a notch.
Oh, turn it up a notch would have been a good name, too.
That's also true. Write that down.
The piece of paper in front of me is currently blank because I couldn't find a writing utensil.
If you needed a pen, I have a bunch in my car.
Well, that doesn't help me right now.
Well, yeah, you should have thought of that before we started.
I have no more comments on Week 12 other than the Raiders are still terrible. The Cardinals are still terrible. The Giants masked being terrible for 2 weeks, but now are back to being terrible.
The Rams are hot, though.
The Packers somehow are terrible, and I think it's all because of Mike McCarthy.
I believe that, too.
And the Titans at 5-6 are still firmly in the mix for a playoff position, although they are terrible.
Somehow they're there. Well, listen, Tony, wait. Before you get all hasty here, what about these bets that Trish was mentioning before?
What bets? I bet on the Packers to win, and I bet on the Steelers giving 3.5 to Denver. Didn't hit.
Hmm.
And I bet on the under of the Jags game.
Basically, he bet on all the things that
didn't
lost.
win.
Well, some bets hit. I bet on the Browns to win. I bet on the Ravens to win. There's another one on there, too. I forget who. Oh, and the Chargers.
I'm going to be giving everybody betting tips at the end of this podcast. So stay tuned for that.
Well, we take Week 12 of the NFL season into the current playoff picture, and here's what it is coming into Week 13. Atop the AFC, we have the Chiefs at 9-2, occupying the number 1 seed, and the Patriots at 8-3, occupying the number 2 seed. Leading their respective divisions are the Pittsburgh Steelers at 7-3-1 and the Houston Texans at 8-3. The two wildcard spots in the AFC are the Chargers at 8-3, which, if the season ended today, they would have to actually play a Pittsburgh team with a worse record than them in Pittsburgh. And the Ravens with the 6th seed at 6-5. And in the NFC, the first seed is the New Orleans Saints at 10-1. Rams 2nd seed at 10-1. The Bears are the 3rd seed at 8-3, and the Cowboys are the 4th seed at 6-5. And the two wildcard spots are the Vikings at 6-4-1, and the Redskins at 6-5. Now, John, I will ask you, pick one team from each conference here, currently in a playoff spot, that you do not see in the playoffs come Week 17.
I mean, the obvious choice for looking right at it is the Baltimore Ravens. I just believe that Joe Flacco, I mean, he's proven time and time again that he's not elite. On top of that, he's
hurt,
injured.
John.
He's injured.
Okay.
And so you have a rookie quarterback, Lamar Jackson,
Who is 2-0.
who is 2-0, but I mean, he seems more concerned with, rushing the ball than actually passing it. So I don't see him going any farther in the playoffs, if he even makes it to the playoffs at that point.
Well, okay, let's say the Ravens are out. Who do you put in?
First look, I would say you have to say the Colts.
They're hot, man. Andrew Luck looks back to form, and
Yeah, he's impressive this season.
they
honestly.
said he's a dark horse candidate for the MVP, but
I don't see
Drew
that.
Brees is going to win.
It's Drew Brees.
What about in the NFC? You got a team in the NFC that looks like it might not be there?
I mean, you can look at the Redskins, I think. I mean, Colt McCoy is a serviceable backup quarterback, no matter how you look at it. But, I mean, replacing Alex Smith, you got to wonder if Colt McCoy can keep up the same production that he is still at while
Well, if they
filling
can
in
get
for
a
him.
running game, then he really won't have to. It's not like Alex Smith was setting the world on fire.
I know.
No, constantly under 200 yards passing a game, which isn't much to ask from Colt McCoy.
But, I mean, when you also look at teams that are also in the hunt in the NFC, like the Seahawks and the Panthers, do you really see the Redskins maintaining their, how did they do this week? I actually didn't pay attention.
The Redskins?
Yeah, the Redskins.
They lost to Dallas.
They lost to Dallas. So, I mean, then, again, so their record, I think they're tied with the Seahawks and the Panthers for records.
They are. It goes down to I forget what the tiebreaker is. I believe it's division record.
Trish, what do you think on that?
Well, right now I was gonna go through my whole list of people I don't think are gonna make the playoffs.
All right. Well, who do you think isn't going to make the playoffs?
right,
Wait,
well-
John. If you take the Redskins out, who are you putting in the playoffs?
Yeah, I'd say Seahawks right now.
Yeah.
All right,
Trish?
Well, in the AFC, I'm gonna take the Chargers out of there.
They're 8-3.
I know what they are.
Who are you putting in there?
I
You
don't-
understand they're one Chiefs loss away from being number one
Yeah,
in the
exactly.
conference. So you're taking out the Chargers.
Yep.
For some reason.
Because I just don't think the Chargers have it in them. They're not going to do well. Even if they make the playoffs, they're not going to do anything.
Philip
Okay.
Rivers is an MVP
I
candidate.
don't
believe
understand
that.
what you have
Phillip
happening to the
Rivers
Chargers.
is
They would have, if they lost out, they'd still have a damn good chance of making the playoffs at
It's
8-8.
It's just
I don't-
cliche Chargers hate.
I don't
Everyone
know.
hates
I
Chargers
just-
because
I don't think the Chargers are good enough. I'm just going to tell you right now.
Okay, if you take the Chargers out, who are you putting in?
Yeah, that's my question too.
He's probably going to put in like Miami or something.
I swear, if you
I
say
would
Miami,
Not, I would not.
If
put Miami
Tannehill was
in.
playing, I would like Miami a little better, but I don't.
Tannehill sucks anyway.
Tannehill came back last week, I think, but
wait, I thought Osweiler was still starting.
who knows?
Oh my
but
God,
Tannehill's
Brock
going to get hurt again.
Osweiler. What a guy.
All right, so you're taking the
I'm going to
Chargers
put the Colts in
You're
there.
putting the Colts in. So
Oh,
are you
yeah.
leaving the Ravens in?
You're leaving the Ravens in.
I'm leaving the Ravens right where they are.
Really?
Really?
Yeah, Joe Flacco, baby. I know he's injured right now, but he's a good guy.
Okay. What about in the NFC?
All right, if we look over there, I honestly think the Redskins have no business being there.
They don't with a backup quarterback.
They're horrible. They're just awful. I think the Redskins are going to fall way down that list. And I honestly think any of the top 4 teams in the hunt have a good chance of making it in.
What in each
He's
In the
talking about
NFC.
in the
So
NFC?
the Seahawks, the Panthers, the
the
Eagles,
Packers
and
would
the
have
Packers.
to win out and get some help.
I think
And the Packers do have to play Chicago.
I think Aaron Rodgers is just trying to find himself right now.
I think the play calling's too much for him to overcome to make any kind of noise in the
I don't
NFC.
know.
Well,
We'll
here's
see.
here's what I think. I think in the NFC, well, you look at the NFC East, there is 3 teams that division spot can go to. That could be anywhere between Dallas, Philly, and Washington.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's going to be Washington because I think Alex Smith getting hurt is a little too much to overcome. Because Colt McCoy proved before he could throw the ball, but I don't think. But Dallas is just too hot right now.
Mm-hmm.
And the Eagles in the second half of that Eagle-Giants game looked like they were coming back. So I would put the Eagles in. I would take the Cowboys out. I would take the Vikings out and put in the Seahawks. And I would take the Redskins out and put in the Panthers.
See, I find that really interesting. You take the Cowboys out for the Eagles?
Yes.
Now, why would you say that, though? Because, I mean, I see, like, what you're saying about, in the second half of that Giants game, the Eagles did definitely show some life for, like, that they've been desperately lacking all season. But I feel, other than that, they're still, like, too injured. I don't see them being able to put it together for an entire season. Like
I don't trust
Dak?
I don't trust Dak. And I definitely don't trust Amari Cooper as a number 1 wide receiver in this league.
Really? No, I think
I believe Golden Tate, once they start integrating more into the offense for Philly, who's going to cover him? Because you got your hands full with Alshon Jeffrey on the right side anyway.
Yeah, but can their defense stop the bleeding? I mean, you saw how, like, their secondaries, like, beat up the heck at this point.
I think they could stop it enough. I don't know what their schedule. I'm going to look up their schedule here for the rest of the season. I believe they play Dallas. I don't think in week 17. I did. So, okay. They have 4 divisional games here toward the end of the season.
This is a tough one.
They got 2 against Washington, which I believe they will win. I think the Eagles will go 3-2 here to finish the season. I don't think they can beat the Rams, and I don't think they can beat the Texans. But they will beat the Redskins twice, and they will beat the Cowboys. And that should be enough, considering what the Cowboys' schedule is.
Yeah, what is? I actually am not aware of the Cowboys' schedule.
They got the Saints, the Eagles, the Colts, the Bucks, which is a tough game because you never know if the Bucks are going to show up or not.
That's true, the Bucks.
And they're going to lose Week 17 against the Giants in what will be Eli Manning's farewell game. There's no way they lose that game. No way.
There's a lot of balls in that statement over there, Tony.
So I have the Cowboys at the end of the season going 1-4, and that's a very tentative 1-4 because the Bucks could show up.
I honestly don't think the Cowboys are going to win in a game. I think Fitzmagic's going to play because something horrible is about to befall.
Trish offering up one more Fitzmagic sighting here.
The
before the end
return
of, the
of Fitzmagic. You heard it here first, everyone.
And, I mean, do we even need to look up Washington's schedule at this point? I don't think.
Does anyone have any faith in Washington? Say aye. Exactly.
Yeah, no.
Here's the thing.
They got to play the Jags.
I mean, that's...
They're basically the same team at this point with no quarterback. The Titans are still firmly in the mix, so they could beat Washington.
Like, okay, so are the Titans really in the mix? Are they really?
No, but they're good for an 8-8 season, as they always are.
Yeah.
Giants are going to win every game.
Still wouldn't be enough.
I know it's not going to be
Actually, if they won every game, and giving the scenario I just gave, we would all be tied at 8-8.
That would be...
But the Eagles would have the tiebreaker.
Yeah, because of the divisional.
Yeah, and head-to-head matchup against the Giants and the Cowboys.
Oh, wait.
And in the AFC, I think it's pretty much set. The Chargers do have a chance to win the AFC West. And if they do win the AFC West, that means New England's going to have the number 1 seed in the AFC again. But you could flip-flop the Chargers and Chiefs because I believe they still have 2 matchups left this season.
Yeah, they do.
And then take the Ravens out and put the Colts in. I don't have faith in the Ravens whatsoever.
Yeah,
so we're all in agreement that the Colts are going to make the playoffs this year.
Essentially, I think, yeah.
All right, good.
All right.
Andy Luck's a hell of a guy.
I think that about covers it for the playoff picture for now, don't you?
Yeah, I think it does. You got a Week 12 Super Bowl prediction there, John?
Yeah, well, I don't think there's any way that the Saints don't make it in at this rate, right? Who's beating them at home?
The Rams.
Really? You think so?
No.
I feel like they pretty much confidently showed them up on...
They did.
What was that, Week 10?
That was a tough
Week
game.
9?
That was... So you got Saints versus who?
Now, I don't want to say Chiefs until I won't say Chiefs until I see it, because I need to see them not choke for once. I trust Mahomes, but after watching that Rams game, I know everyone saw that here, and watching how he kind of got scared and tried to play hero ball at the other time, it's like he was playing college ball still. He was just making, rookie mistakes and, playing against a veteran and the GOAT like Brady, he might try and take advantage of those mistakes. So we'll have to wait and see.
So who is your AFC participant in the Super Bowl?
I don't want to count out the Patriots. So I'm gonna say the Patriots.
So you got Saints, Patriots. Patriots probably win that game with the way the fucking Patriots play. Trish?
Well, if the Giants make the playoffs,
They're gonna go to the Super Bowl.
they're going to go to the Super Bowl, and they're
Giants
going
have
to
to play
win.
the 8-3 Bears.
I understand.
true.
Okay. This week.
If the Giants go to the Super Bowl,
Yeah.
they're going to win.
Right.
Now, that being said, most likely, I think it's the Saints going to win the playoffs here.
Yep.
I think they're going to make it in. And I think you're counting out Mahomes a little too early. I think the Chiefs are going to do it because I think Mahomes is playing like a quarterback much more experienced than he is.
Muched.
All right, listen. I just fumbled the words there. Shut up. I think he's playing on a level that we haven't seen a rookie play at in a very long time. And I think it's refreshing to see a quarterback come in and do what he's done.
I mean, yeah, but when you consider the weapons around him, you got Tyreek Hill, Kareem Hunt, what's his name, Watkins, Kelsey. It's like it's not exactly like he has a lack of targets.
John.
Like if you gave Sam Darnold or Baker Mayfield the same targets, you don't think they could do the same thing?
John, the last time quarterbacks put up numbers like he's putting up, they were names like Brady and Manning, and not the bad Manning.
That bad Manning has. You mean Archie Manning or Eli?
You could go either one, bro.
Well, Archie Manning doesn't have a Super Bowl. Eli has 2.
I understand
Playoff
Eli has
Eli.
2, but he can't touch his brother, and you know that. Peyton Manning is the best Manning, and that is a fact.
Yeah, he is. Just
That's what I'm saying.
Eli Manning has the better Super Bowl record.
Does he?
Yeah,
They
Eli's
both have 2.
Yeah, Peyton's 2-2.
All right.
Eli's 2-0.
All right.
Yeah, man.
All right.
Well, I think the Saints will be in from the NFC, and of course you can't sleep on the Rams, them being 10-1, but you also can't sleep on the Bears because their defense scores points.
Khalil Mack.
And there's not many defenses in this league that score points. But I have the
That's
Saints going
facts.
to the Super Bowl. And in the AFC, we're all forgetting one team, Houston. They are a Houston win and a New England loss away from having a first-round bye. And a Houston win and a Chiefs loss away from being tied for first place in the AFC.
Yeah, but it's Houston.
Deshaun Watson is playing out of his mind.
It's
yeah.
Houston.
And they also have a better defense than the Chiefs and Patriots combined.
It's Houston.
I'm putting my money on J.J. Watt.
Wow!
I just want
Big
I
words.
just want to say why it's Houston, Trish. Why do you say that?
Because they're usually 8-8 going
I
to the
love
playoffs.
Houston.
They're that
Don't get me wrong.
They're that playoff game you don't want to see on ESPN.
Yeah.
I love J.J. Watt.
Yeah.
Love him to death. But that team has not been able to do shit in the playoffs for a very long time.
Well, they've only been around 10 years, 15 years.
I understand how long they've been around. I'm just saying. They can't do anything in the playoffs. They get to the playoffs, and it's just like something happens to the whole team except for J.J. Watt. Everyone shits the bed, and it's just.
Well, we got to remember
awful to
the last few playoff appearances for the Houston. Who was leading them up and down the field?
I don't
T.J.
even know.
Yates, Tom Savage, Brian Hoyer. Come on.
You're naming people.
I think you want.
Don't know any
You
of them.
want to talk.
Exactly. That's the point.
You want to talk about a young quarterback playing like an experienced vet. You have to look no farther than Watson. When you see that, like, I think this is his 18th career game. The one yesterday against the
Has
Titans.
it been that many? I thought it was
It's
less than that.
Like 18 career games. Because he started. How many games did he play last year
I
before getting
don't know.
injured? I
Because
have
he
no
didn't
idea.
start the season as the starting quarterback.
But
You want a crash course on Tom Savage real quick?
He's got a cool name, so sure.
Well, he played at Rutgers.
Right.
And that was at his first career collegiate football game.
Wow, look at you.
They got smacked by Cincinnati. Also, every time a quarterback gets hurt,
Yep.
it's like Tom Savage is already there somehow.
Oh,
He's
God.
already at the location. He's chilling in the waiting room. He's currently got signed by Cincinnati after Andy Dalton got hurt.
Oh my god.
He was signed like that.
That happens.
You think he's just
Right.
like camping outside the ER, or like waiting for quarterbacks to come in on a
I think
stretcher?
he's constantly on an airplane just flying around waiting to land somewhere.
Yeah, he's just
So
in a
he's-
private jet flying around. A quarterback went down in Dallas. Go.
So what you're saying is, he's like Post Malone
Right,
flying
just
around
circling the airport waiting.
with a wheel broken, so he can't land. And he's coming down, and he's like, "Oh
right.
no, I don't have a
You
wheel.
heard it here first.
I'm gonna
Tom
die.
Savage?
Oh
Tom
God."
Savage.
Tom Savage here, the Post Malone of the NFL.
There you go.
All right.
All right.
But somehow Tom Savage is an NFL quarterback.
Again,
All right. Time to.
Colin Kaepernick isn't.
we've talked about Kaepernick and why he does not deserve to be an NFL
Yeah,
quarterback.
but it's just confusing when you have some teams so bad. It's like, we might as well try.
No, listen, Kaepernick's was terrible.
It
We
wasn't
all
that
forget.
bad. Wasn't that
We
bad.
let him distract us from his bad play by his kneeling. If you look at the couple games he played before he started kneeling, it wasn't great. It wasn't
Well,
pretty.
that season
That
wasn't.
season, yeah, but
It was horrible.
He, had,
He went to a Super Bowl.
yeah,
Yeah.
no.
His rookie season, what did he do after that?
Nope, not his rookie season.
Yeah, that was his first year playing on the 49ers.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, it was.
He backed up Alex Smith.
Yeah, but he didn't
Then Alex
start.
Smith and the 49ers went to an NFC Championship.
Right,
And then Colin Kaepernick came in.
right.
And then Colin Kaepernick and the 49ers went to an NFC Championship.
That's what I'm
And
saying.
then the next year, they
Right.
went to a Super Bowl.
Yep.
And you're
But
telling
what's
me.
he done since then?
Well, okay.
Trish with the "What have you done for me lately?"
Listen.
defense.
That is
Trish,
exactly.
Listen.
What has he done? We're falling into another.
All right,
another.
all right, we got to move to NBA here.
Oh God.
It's real quick. I want to say, just tell me how there's a world where Blake Bortles is a starting quarterback and Colin Kaepernick
Well, Blake
isn't.
Bortles is not a starting quarterback right now. It's Cody Kessler.
Oh, that's true. R.I.P. Blake Bortles. Okay.
All right,
No, wait,
on to
who's
the
that
next one.
49ers quarterback? Let me just get it real quick.
Nick
What's his name?
Mullins?
That guy.
Nick
I
Mullins.
like that kid.
He just put up 9 points
I saw
against
what he- I
Tampa
saw what
Bay,
he did. I saw
the
what he did.
worst defense in the NFL.
Saw what he did. It was quite bad,
Right.
but I like
Okay.
that kid.
All right, time to move on.
Well, I'm looking at these NBA standings. Somehow the Hawks and Suns have 4 wins apiece. So we're gonna transition to the NBA now. Conference standings currently sitting 1 through 8 in the East. We got the Raptors, the Bucks, the Sixers, the Pacers, Pistons, Celtics, Hornets, and Magic. That's right. The Orlando Magic currently possess a playoff spot. And in the West, we have the Clippers. The Clippers?
The Clippers.
They're in first. The Warriors, the Nuggets, the Thunder, the Grizzlies, the Blazers, the Lakers, the Spurs, Kings, and Mavericks are all tied
For the 8th seed.
for the 8th seed. Look
This
at LeBron
is-
there and his Lakers sneaking in.
Oh, look at him.
All right, John, what's your team this year that currently in a playoff position that has surprised you the most?
That's in a playoff position that's surprising me?
Top 8. Well, give me one from the East first.
Okay, in the East, one that's surprising me. I mean, obviously, I have no idea how the Magic are in this right now.
Well, they're 10 and 11. They have a losing record.
No, I'm not. I'm not gonna say that they're surprising.
Why are they
me,
in
though.
it? Because Washington's bad, Nets are bad, Heat are bad, Knicks are bad, Bulls are bad, Cavs are god awful.
Don't sleep on the Cavs.
So they're 4 and 15.
The East run through the Cavs, man.
Yup.
I
Yep.
understand where they're sitting right now, but don't sleep on the Cavs.
Well, not
Think about it. They're only like 6 games out of a playoff spot.
That's true.
But
Okay, no.
And
But,
how many games are played? 82.
yeah, same
They
as
got it. They got it.
Yep.
I mean, I guess the real story, like when you look at the East, though, is Toronto's still number 1.
Yeah, well, who's gonna
Milwaukee's
challenge them?
Milwaukee's
You can't
number
beat the
2,
Beard.
though.
Yeah.
And then you look down, and Boston's at 11 and 10 in 6th place.
Sixers are charging too.
Well, Jimmy Butler literally hit 2 game winners in a week from the exact same spot on the court.
The exact same move.
Exact same move. And so you already. I feel like, honestly, looking at these standings, I would take out the Magic, put in the Wizards. I think you're looking at your Eastern Conference playoffs.
Well, I think 7, 8 are totally up for grabs. The Heat could make a run and take that position. Hell, the Nets could make a run and take that position.
Hell, the Cavs could make a run and take
Well,
that position.
somehow only 6 games out, so I guess it is possible.
Kevin Love is out.
Oh, damn! Kevin Love
Kevin
is out.
He's a
Hey,
game changer,
hey.
man.
Kevin Love's a great player.
John, give me a surprisingly good team in the East. Team of surprise is currently in the top 8. I think there's one that stands out.
I mean, we already talked about the Magic, so not that. Because they have a losing record. The Pistons.
Yeah,
Detroit Pistons. I mean, Blake Griffin has
got they
been
had him.
playing.
They got the 2-man down low going with Drummond and Griffin.
It's the off-brand New Orleans Pelicans from last year, okay? You got Blake Griffin and Andre Drummond. Blake Griffin can kind of shoot now.
Let me just give you something here.
Mhm.
The Pelicans are 10 and 11. That's 11th place in the West.
Oh, okay. So
10 and 11 in the East would mean a playoff spot.
So the Pelicans are the off-brand Detroit Pistons. I'm sorry about that. Anyway.
Right. Last year's Pelicans. They don't
Last
have the
year's
two
Pelicans.
big man down low anymore.
I mean, don't they still got Randall and Mirotic? Are they
It's
big?
not the same
Are they
thing
big?
as Anthony Davis and Boogie Cousins, and you know it's not.
That's true. They're better. All right. Anyway.
Yep, they're better.
Yeah, well, apparently.
Trish, do you know who Anthony
Do you
Davis
know
is?
anything about basketball, Trish?
Wait. Answer my. Do you know who Anthony Davis is?
Is that guy with the unibrow?
Yeah.
And he calls himself the Brow?
Yeah.
I want to just say that I hate that man and
No.
everything he stands
Do you know
for.
who Boogie Cousins is?
I know Boogie.
Okay. Now name your two people.
For what?
The two guys you just named
Oh,
and tried to compare him to Boogie.
Julius Randle.
Do you know who that is?
Julius
Randle.
Nope, can't say I do.
Nikola Mirotic.
Nikola Mirotic.
Is that the Greek freak?
Nope, that's Giannis Antetokounmpo.
I can't help you.
Now,
Okay, so your surprisingly good team in the East is the Pistons. Your surprisingly bad team in the East, I'm guessing, is the Wizards.
yeah,
Yeah,
I think that's
Why are they surprisingly bad?
Because they have
John Wall and Bradley Beal.
John Wall's a bitch. All right. Surprisingly good team in the West, John.
I think you got to give that to either the Clippers or the Grizzlies. I don't know. It's like,
It's got to be the Clippers. They're number one in the conference.
yeah, but when you look at the West, it's really like
And the
they
Grizzlies were expected to be in last place.
you have to look 1 through 8 in the West. You know, the 8th seed there's a three-way tie for it right now, but literally, I think behind the first seed it's like the 8th seed is 3 games back. So it's very tight right now. So the Clippers, they might be the 1 seed for now, but they could just as easily be the 4 seed in a week.
You know, John, we're all acting like this matters.
That's true.
We all know what's going to happen come April, May, and June. The Golden State Warriors are going to go 12-0 in the first 3 rounds of the playoffs. And none of this is going to matter.
I mean,
You say that, but look at what Durant's doing right now. He's losing his head.
Well, they won today.
they just won
They
like
won
3 in a
last
row.
night.
I saw that they won.
Durant's
It doesn't
dropped,
change my
They
opinion.
came back and beat the somehow playoff position holding Orlando Magic.
Saw what happened?
476 win percentage for the
Okay.
Orlando Magic.
The Warriors
playoff
don't have
spot.
Steph Curry or Boogie Cousins yet.
Yeah, just wait till he comes back.
They're starting. Who the hell at center? The Warriors? Damian Jones, Kevin Looney,
Forgot about Kevin Looney.
some G League bums. I'm
Zaza
sorry.
Pachulia.
I'm sorry,
Zaza
Kevin
Pachulia's
Looney.
not there
You're not
anymore.
listening to this.
What, he
but
left?
He's been gone.
Why did Zaza leave?
He's on Detroit.
He's on Detroit.
He's the secret.
No, Zaza. That was my guy. I loved his name.
All right, now give me your surprisingly. I would say there's only one team in the West that's bad.
Yeah.
That's Phoenix. Everybody else is like a game and a half out of a playoff spot.
No, I mean you could definitely say Utah Jazz.
That's a
is-
surprise.
That's a
But
surprise.
they're still only 2 games out of a playoff spot.
Also, the
The Rockets, but they're starting to come on.
Yeah, but
Even though they did lose last night to
did you see the past 3 games?
somebody.
They lost yesterday to the Wizards.
That's
believe it or not.
Yeah,
They lost to the
bad
Cavs.
Wizards out of the East.
They lost 3 in a row to the Pistons, the Cavs.
Well, the
and-
Pistons currently hold a playoff spot, John, so bite your tongue.
Yeah, but the Cavs. I mean, maybe Trish is right. Maybe they are making a run.
Trish
You know?
like that for some reason.
Trish is a Cavs stan, I think. Right?
All right, listen. I'm not a Cavs fan. I'm not really a fan of basketball
But you're a
as a
Cavs fan.
whole. I'm just gonna say I watch some games when I'm over at my friend's house, and
Who? Whose house?
Whose house?
sometimes your house.
I have one
The
basketball
other
game
night-
on a year. It's
Yeah,
Game
the
7
other
of the
night-
NBA
no,
Finals,
it's bet.
which is why there hasn't been one on
Hold
at my
your
house the last
tongue,
7
sir.
years.
You had the Utah Jazz game on the other night.
Oh, that's because that kid was from Utah.
Yeah, no, yeah. Utah Jazz game was on here, so I watched it. And when I go over to, like, Jake's house, sometimes the game's on.
Well, I think the surprising team out of the West is the Clippers.
Well,
'cause
hold on. I didn't get a chance.
All right,
He
who-
didn't- Okay,
here-
Trish had to say something, Tony.
Trish's
so-
surprise is that the Warriors aren't 22-0 right now.
That is not true at all. I
What's your
honestly
surprise?
think the Warriors are all flack. I don't think they got what everyone gives them.
Now that's a hot take right
Rings. They're
I-
flack
No, listen.
because
listen,
everybody gives them rings. Is that your argument?
That's not my argument at all.
Sounded like
I
it.
honestly think, to be completely true, it's going to be the Cavs against the Warriors again in the finals.
It's a bold
And
take.
that everyone is going to hold their tongue about LeBron being all the Cavs had. I understand right now it's not looking good. 4-15 is bad. But If they win a couple more games, they could be in the playoffs in that
You
division.
see, now we're caught with the same scenario Trish just gave us last segment
This
about
is
the Giants
Giants
making the
scenario.
playoffs. It's the same thing.
No, this is much earlier in the season. The
feel-
Cleveland Cavaliers can still
We're
pull
saying the Cavs
something.
have to make the playoffs. You have to go through Toronto, Milwaukee, and Philly, and Golden State in the West.
I do think that Trish does have a point here because I feel like with certain teams in all the major sports, if they somehow make it to the playoffs, they're gonna somehow make a run. If the Cavs
Cleveland
make it to
Cavaliers,
the
baby.
8th seed, right? I'm just saying, Tony, entertain me for this. If the Cavs
You
make
mean
the 8th
entertain me,
seed
John?
and they play the Toronto Raptors, they will get swept by the
Yes,
Cavs, okay?
yes.
And that's a
Whoa,
fact.
whoa! The Raptors will
The
get swept by
Raptors
the
will
Cavs?
get swept by the
I'm
Cavs in
pretty
4
sure-
games.
I'm pretty sure you could put 5-on-1 Kawhi Leonard versus the whole Cavs team, and the Raptors would still win.
They cannot guard Kevin Love, and that's a fact.
What
These are
makes
facts.
you think that?
Did you watch the playoffs last year?
But that's because people had to guard LeBron.
That's not at all why.
That, even if that was the case, there still would have been if Kevin Love didn't have any effect in that series, they wouldn't have won in 4 games. They would have won in 6. Okay, it was a sweep. They'll win in if not 4 games, 5 games. I'm saying it.
I'm
And
with
Trish
John
Trish
on
agrees
that.
with me.
Yeah, I'm with John.
Okay.
I think if the
Trish-
Cleveland gets in, they're going to win. So I think surprisingly bad team right now is Cleveland. I thought they'd be doing better at this point in the year.
Let's be honest.
I
A
think
lot
they're
of
gonna pick it
people, a lot of people before the season had a lot of hot takes saying, "Oh, LeBron didn't carry the Cavs. They can still make the playoffs without Kevin Love." There was a bunch
Dude, what
of people.
channel were you watching?
Stephen A. Smith, man.
Oh, okay. He gets in his.
Oh,
a
it
mood.
Fix the
crashed
screen.
again.
Oh,
Nope,
no,
He gets in a
no.
mood and starts screaming.
All right, and for the West, also in the East, I just want to say trust the process. I
Indeed.
think the 76ers are right where they should be. I think they should be a little higher even.
That's what I think.
Oh, real quick.
Because I honestly think that man, Joel Embiid, is
Not even-
ridiculous. He's ridiculous.
Real quick. Let's talk about Markelle Fultz. Tony, what do you think?
What
Who's
about him? He
Markelle
can't
Fultz?
shoot.
I know. What else you got to say about him?
He can't friggin' shoot.
So you saying he's a bust?
I'm not saying that.
See a bum?
I'm saying he's
You heard it here first, folks. Tony, the tech guy.
he's what the
Thinks
fourth
he's
best
a bum.
player on that team, maybe fifth best player on that team.
I wouldn't even say top 10.
on
Hot
what,
take.
on the Sixers.
On the Sixers.
The rosters are like 12 people.
Go to the Sixers active roster right now. I'm serious.
So you say that Markelle Fultz is not. This is just becoming a whole spew of garbage from John now. You're saying this. All right.
Okay.
Okay.
Ben Simmons.
Top 3, obviously. Embiid.
Butler, Simmons, and Embiid. Yes.
No, Embiid, Butler, and Simmons.
I was just naming them. I wasn't
Okay.
giving you an order, but yes,
Then
Embiid.
Wilson
Embiid,
Chandler.
Simmons,
Wilson
Butler.
Chandler. T.J. McConnell.
Okay.
That's 5 right there.
Okay.
Go down. Mike Muscala. J.J. Redick.
Okay.
Zaire Smith, he's dead. He's not even playing. Probably still better, though. I think he can shoot. He can shoot. How are you going to get drafted first overall and not know how to
He
shoot?
could shoot then for some reason. He just can't now.
It's because he's in the NBA.
Listen, I'm just saying.
No, it's because they changed up his shot.
Welcome to the league.
They changed up his shot for
Why?
some reason.
His trainer, Drew Hanlon, I am calling you out live on this podcast. You lied. You
John-
said his shot was fixed.
John, we're
It is
not
not
live.
fixed.
See him pump fake on that free throw a few weeks ago?
Yeah, he juggles the ball now when he shoots.
I'm surprised he wasn't involved in that Jimmy Butler trade.
Like-
That's just me.
No, I heard Cleveland is just going to give them Kyle Korver for Fultz straight up.
Why would? Okay.
Fultz has no value. Okay?
He's got more value than Kyle Korver, doesn't he? Because
Is Shake Milton good?
20.
He's-
Where do you even see him?
Shake
Why
Milton.
is his first name Shake?
That's pretty dope. I like
Shake
that.
Milton, number 18
He's a
on the
chocolate
Sixers. I
milkshake,
don't,
baby.
Shake Milton is a chocolate milkshake. You heard it here first.
who are these people on this team also? Who's freaking Korkmaz?
Oh, they're all better than Markelle Fultz, according to you. This guy
Probably.
This guy's a face on his neck.
I see that. I don't like Wilson Chandler just because of that. I'm gonna make my opinions based off of the pictures of these guys.
Hot take.
I'm gonna tell you right now. I think Shake Milton.
John, you don't have to say hot take before making a hot take.
How will you know if it's hot or not?
I'm gonna say right now, Shake Milton's gonna be the name of the league in about 2 years.
All right.
I don't know who he is. I don't know
Tony.
how he plays.
I know.
Over the name?
Over under on Shake Milton's age.
Over under? Show me his picture again. Oh, he's gone. I'm gonna say he's under 30.
Shake Milton.
Shake Milton, under 30. See if I'm right.
He's 22.
Going to be the face of the league in a couple years.
This season, he's averaging 7 minutes per game, 0 points.
That's fine.
That's Fultz numbers.
He's going to be the face of the league. You heard it here first. I'm putting that out there. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'm going to let you all know right now. I don't know anything about basketball.
Markelle Fultz hasn't played the last 3 games. But Markelle Fultz is averaging 22.5 minutes per game, 8.2 points per game, a field goal percentage of 41.9%, 28.6 from 3.
I don't know a lot, but those numbers don't look that bad. 3-point looks bad. And 41.9, if that's a percentage. If that's a percentage, I'm gonna give you all my opinion right now.
Stats.
On John.
I want the real stats.
John.
Okay? I want
John?
plus or minus. I want per.
Plus or
I
minus.
want
Get outta
everything,
here with
man.
your plus
What's
minus.
his net rating?
All right, here we go. Ready? If you cannot make a free throw, and you're in the NBA, you should not be in the NBA. Your job, all day, all night, is to shoot a basketball and make it go in. If there is a time when you are standing on the line,
He's been telling me this for the last 4 years.
and there is no one guarding you, and all you have to do is throw the ball and get it in the basket, you should be 100%. There should be no question about that. That should be 100% every time.
What if
Shaq, what the heck was that? What was that, Shaq? Why couldn't you make a single free throw? When you made a free throw, people were surprised.
Now listen.
Hack-a-Shaq was a thing
He shot
for
50%.
a very long time.
He shot 50%.
I don't care what he shot
That's-
over his career.
that's one
He
of every
was
two.
shot
50%?
So
Yeah.
bad.
I thought it was a lot lower than that.
No,
think.
don't lower my voice. I'm
Listen.
gonna lower it myself.
It wasn't lowering your
All
voice.
right, good. I was so surprised. Like I am still surprised to this day that there are people in the NBA that you just know, oh, that guy can't make free throws. Why? If you can't make free throws, you're getting paid how many millions of dollars a year? You can't make a free throw? Get on the line for an entire 3 days and just shoot free throws.
So you realize
By the end of those 3
we gotta
days,
get moving here.
I don't care. I'm still going. By the end of those 3 days, you should be able to shoot and make a free throw with your eyes shut behind your back. This is ridiculous. The fact that we let this stand is ridiculous. If there were players in the NHL and they got to sit on the blue line and just shoot at the net, they'd be able to hit it. What is that? What is that hand signal?
Okay.
John?
Well, I would just want to say I feel for my Atlanta Hawks. Vince Carter not doing well
Your
down there with
Atlanta
4
Hawks.
wins. East is trash. There's three teams in the NBA that are good. Let's be honest here.
which
That's why the NBA sucks.
Toronto, Golden State, and
76ers.
I guess the Clippers. But
76ers.
they're okay.
76ers are awesome.
But this is basically what the playoff position will be. I think the Wizards will sneak in, even though all the dysfunction in that organization. Magic's going to fall out because they're Orlando. And in the West, the Lakers are going to move up to like 4, maybe
Cavs are
5.
going to end up winning.
The Mavericks might sneak in. The Pelicans are going to fall off the pace. The Timberwolves might sneak in if Derrick Rose can keep putting up this impressive run that he's putting up for the last 5-6 games.
D. Rosen?
All right, so we're going to transition now to the National Hockey League.
Oh, this is my place.
Oh, and my bet is not going to happen with the Jets down 1 in the third period. But I think there's only one real story we have to talk about here in the National Hockey League, and that is the Buffalo Sabres.
Oh my goodness,
Buffalo
the Buffalo
Sabres had the first overall draft pick last year.
Yes, they did.
They have won 10 straight now tonight after beating the San Jose Sharks in overtime.
That never happens.
10 straight
overtime.
wins.
They were winning before. 1-0 going into the third.
I think this is a thing where across sports, you look at a way you want a team that's perennially bad, how you want to build the team.
Mm-hmm.
And even though it takes time, this is the point that every team wants to get to. Whether it's through trades, through good drafting, this is the point. And the Buffalo Sabres are finally at that point after like a 7-year-long rebuild. The two models in the NBA and NHL when it comes to rebuild are the Buffalo Sabres and the Philadelphia 76ers. And while the Sixers have had playoff appearances, and I believe the Sabres will make the playoffs this year, it's being able to prove it there. And the Sabres are a young team led by Sam Reinhart and Rasmus Dahlin. players who are younger than 23 years old. So they're going to have this core for a long time, and the Sabres are finally back to that point where they're a team to be reckoned with in the Eastern Conference. I think Trish agrees with that.
I think
I can't wait to see them come to town and play the Devils.
They're going to be a force to reckon with, but I think you're putting a lot of faith in a team very early in the season. You look at a lot of teams at the beginning of the season and where they're at now, it's a completely different world. You look at the Devils started off 4-0, and the only reason I bring them up is because I'm a huge fan, and I was crushed to see how the season has gone since that 4-0.
Well, the Sabres actually started off worse than this.
I understand that. They started out bad, now they're making the way up, but I think it's November. You know, the playoffs aren't until pretty much the spring, so we're still far way off.
And let's just all take a look at that Vegas Golden Knights score right now.
Oh my.
8-2 with 7 minutes left in
Let's talk about the Golden Knights for a minute. Talk about like a dream team. The Golden Knights come into the NHL last year, not a team. They come in, draft lottery. They just take whoever they want.
The guy they drafted, they had like 3 picks in the first round. None of them played last year.
Yeah.
None of them.
It's nuts. The Golden Knights come in, they're a team they shouldn't win. Every team that's come into the NHL up to this point has made absolutely no waves. That I think there was a team that didn't win more than 14 games their entire season.
Yeah, it's the 70-something Washington Capitals. It's the worst year in NHL history.
It's really bad.
Like 9 wins.
Then you look at the Golden Knights coming in and winning as many games as they did and going as far as they did in the playoffs.
Top team in the Western Conference.
And then going all the way up to the Cup and then losing. It was surprising, but it showed that the Golden Knights are here to play. They're not here to be messing around. They want the Cup. And I think that this year, even though their record's not great, I'm not sure what it is 100%, but
they're starting to move up. They've made up for their slow start at the beginning of the season. They just beat San Jose a few games ago, 6-0.
Yeah, like I said, it's early in the season to tell anything right now.
And this has to be disappointing, especially for the Chicago Blackhawks. Rough start, team that was a perennial contender. Now firing their head coach early on in the season. Earlier this week making waves with a huge trade with the Arizona Coyotes. Some thought bad trade on the part of the Coyotes, giving up Strome, who was a very high pick a few years ago. People thought Blackhawks won that trade outright. It's going to take some games to tell, but not a promising start here for the Chicago Blackhawks in the Dylan Strome era. But it looks like Vegas is returning to their form. Another point around the NHL today, Flyers lost 4-3. Flyers fired their general manager yesterday.
Saw that.
For having differences in the direction of the belief that the team
Flyers
should go.
Did not like their GM.
That's what happens when you have no goaltending to build around.
They gave him the boot.
Talk is now that the Flyers head coach might be on the hot seat because he was a product of Hextall, but that's usually what happens when you change regimes. You see it in the NBA. General manager gets fired, head coach is usually next.
Have they hired an interim GM for the meantime?
The president of hockey operations announced that he will be taking over.
Really?
For good?
No, just till.
Okay.
I have a feeling it's gonna be at least for the rest of this season.
Now I may be alone in this, but I think they should start looking at some former U.S. Cabinet holders, and they should try to find one of them.
Condoleezza Rice, you're saying, should be up for
Condoleezza Rice should be up.
They should
for
take
the
the Cleveland
spot.
Browns initiative and go for the former U.S. Secretary of State.
Did you hear how it turned out to be a hoax and that they were never actually?
You know,
looking
it definitely wasn't a
Condoleezza
hoax.
Rice?
You know the Browns were serious about it.
Hysterically
Condoleezza
funny.
Rice.
You know
You
the
didn't
Browns
hear about
were
that, John?
serious.
No, I heard about that, but do you
Okay.
think that was serious, Trish?
Most definitely.
That would have been.
It was
great.
definitely serious from the Browns until everybody started making fun of it. Then everyone's like, "Oh, no, we didn't mean to do that. That was just a joke."
Yeah,
that was.
I don't know who'd put that.
I don't know.
Like I honestly thought it was a hoax because does she have an interest in football? I have no idea.
She does. She's
does.
actually real big into football, and she knows her stuff apparently.
Huh.
I just want to talk about back onto the NHL.
Yeah, go ahead.
Me and tech guy Tony over there have a disagreement quite often about the Devils and their goaltending this season. So if we look at the two goaltenders that the Devils currently possess, that Tony likes to call goaltender 1A and goaltender 1B. One has been somewhat hot from last season into this season.
Has not been hot the last 10 games.
Hasn't been doing that great recently, but has been doing better than the other goaltender that we have that has not won a regular season game since December of last year, has won one playoff game, and that is the goaltender that tech guy Tony thinks should be our starter. That goaltender is Corey Schneider.
Well,
I love the man to death.
I have an argument for this, and
Yeah, I like to hear it.
I believe what the New Jersey Devils should do before this season completely starts to go off the rails, because that's what it's looking like,
Trade Corey Schneider.
is trade Keith Kincaid.
Keith Kincaid.
Because, listen for the argument,
Go ahead.
he's going to leave after this season.
You think so?
Yes.
Why?
Because we're not going to have the money to pay him.
We have the
Because
most
you're
cap
gonna-
space in the NHL.
Yes, but we still have yet to pay Hall. We still have yet to pay Heischer. We still have yet to play Butcher. And we still have yet to play Vatanen.
That's true.
And,
Do you think that's what
But just
our
wait.
GM is saving the cap space for?
yeah, most definitely.
Okay.
And it's a typical thing of the sell high, buy low.
Yeah.
Keith Kincaid is your run-of-the-mill sell high right now.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Corey Schneider has zero trade value.
That's true.
Like with Keith Kincaid, you could probably snag at least a second-round pick. Or a top 4 defenseman for him. Which
That'd be
the Devils,
nice.
which a
A
top 4
defenseman.
defenseman might be able to solve our problems while Schneider gets back into a groove for the rest of the season.
Our problem right now, though, is if we trade Keith Kincaid right now, who do we put in the goal?
We got to let Schneider start to get in a groove.
Schneider, he tried. We put him down in the AHL, and he only won, what,
He
2
only
games?
played because he played 3 games.
Yeah.
For a goalie to get in the groove, it takes 4 or 5 games.
Okay.
Corey Schneider had no training camp. Corey Schneider had no preseason.
I understand that. But that doesn't allow for the display we've seen so far from him this season.
But you can't expect that with a goalie who is used to playing 7, 8, 9 games in a row and then saying, hey, we're going to play you once every 7 games. You can't do that. It's going to mess with the guys.
His confidence may be messed
Preparation.
with, but what he should really do is sit down and be like, all right, I'm not playing the way I should be. He should be practicing harder. He should be, when everyone else is leaving, look at Brian Boyle. That man is the last man off the ice every single practice.
Who do you think he's shooting on?
I don't know.
Schneids.
Do you think so?
I know so.
How do you know?
I've seen it.
You've seen it where?
I've seen the pictures posted from practice.
All right. Well, you got a problem with my hat on my knee?
But it's trade while the value's high before
I don't
the
know.
Devils lose the next 10 games. And
I don't
neither of
think
these are goalies of the
Kincaid's gonna-
future. But it's going to be which one gives you the best chance to win now.
What's
And
their
if
record
Keith
right
Kincaid, they're 8-10-1, 8-10-4. And if Keith Kincaid is just going to walk next season, you might as well trade him before the Devils are 20-30 at the trade deadline.
Yeah. I don't know. I think Keith Kincaid just needs to find his groove. I think the whole team needs to find their groove. They were in it at the beginning of the season.
I'd
We
rather
saw it.
have Schneider find his groove than Keith Kincaid because I trust Corey Schneider more.
I know you trust Corey Steiner more, but if we look at his recent record, it's not as good as Keith Kincaid's. And if we look at where Keith Kincaid is going currently, if the whole team they play better in front of him. I don't know what it is. I don't know if the team doesn't like Corey, which I highly doubt because they all seem like pretty tight-knit guys. I don't know if it's just they assume that Corey's better so they can play a little worse in front of him, or if it's just coincidence that is befalling poor Corey Schneider. But when the team's in front of Keith Kincaid, they play better. And it's sometimes really noticeable, like at that 4-0 start, and it's sometimes not as noticeable, like when they let really horrible shots get in front of Corey Schneider that they don't let get in front of Keith Kincaid.
We got to start moving on to ending this show here soon. I want to leave you with... I want to ask you one question here.
Go ahead.
The back-to-back that was recently played.
Yep.
Devils played Tampa Bay and Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think it was Schneider who should have started the Tampa Bay game?
I don't know.
I think Schneider should have played against Florida because Florida's the worst team. And it would have been somebody just to get to build confidence back up instead of getting lit up by Tampa Bay the way we did.
That's very true. Tampa Bay was a very crushing defeat.
And so it wasn't even that... It was bad the way it ended.
It was horrible.
With Vatanen scoring on his own net.
Yes, that was bad. And that's what I'm talking about with the teams playing better in front of Kincaid than Schneider. Weird stuff like that happens in front of Schneider. It doesn't usually happen as often in front of Kincaid. And let's talk about how much the Pipes love Kincaid for some reason. Anytime someone takes a shot on Kincaid,
Well, that
it rings off the
that
Pipes.
has to do with his stance and the angles they try to pick on Kincaid because of the way he is.
He gets really lucky with it, and I think that this team needs to practice 3-on-3 drills. If they don't,
overtime's been bad.
They have no hope. Oh, looks at that. Tony's win by 2 for the Jets didn't go anywhere.
Jets just lost to the Penguins 4-3. All right, let's move on to the last segment of the show here, the inaugural show
Trish's picks
of our podcast, which the name escaped. Too many men.
One episode already forgot the name.
We have the show.
John, did you ever find a pen over there like I asked you?
I told you there were no pens on the desk.
Oh, John, what are we doing?
Where's your marker you sniff? Oh, you know what? Don't grab the good marker. Grab the bad marker. No, John. John, up there. There's a big Sharpie. Nope. There you go.
This is a Sharpie. You can't use a Sharpie to write on.
Here we go.
Why can't you use a Sharpie
It's going to bleed through the paper.
You're going to bleed through the paper. All right, we're going to make some picks here for Week 13 of the NFL season.
I'm excited.
And
let me go first.
It's going to be a head-to-head against... Well, it's going to be a three-way head-to-head.
No, you don't get up to say it because you actually pay attention.
John pays attention.
John doesn't pay attention nearly as much as you do.
To what, football?
Yeah.
That's bullshit, and you know it.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
You want to make a bet on that?
You want to bet on that?
I bet you Tony does better than you in these picks.
I guarantee you I do better than John.
See?
John's stupid.
Exactly my point.
All right.
I'm in.
All right, Tony's in.
This marker's dead.
Oh, God, you sniffed it to death. And he doesn't even like the smell of that one.
All right, well...
You're not using the other one. The other one's too precious.
John, give us a Week 13 preview of the NFL. Tell us who's playing.
Tony, pull out your phone, put on notes.
So first things first, Thursday, November 29th, you have the Saints playing the Cowboys in Dallas. Now, I feel like looking at that, pretty obvious, don't you think, Trish?
Yeah, definitely obvious.
Yeah, Saints.
Saints
all the
Saints
way.
all the way. Tony?
All right, John, thank you for that Thursday Night Football preview. And the Saints are going to kill the Cowboys.
Yeah, it's not even going to be close.
So we are all in agreement
We're all in agreement here.
Yep, everyone's picking the Saints for Thursday night.
All
right, John, just run down that list because there's a lot of teams on there. Just name your picks, and Tony will write them down. Then I'll go through and name mine, and then Tony will write those down, and then Tony will just write down his and say them out loud.
Wait, this is how we're doing this.
All right.
Oh, boy.
Let Tony
the first
Tech
game
decide.
is on Sunday is Ravens at Falcons. Trish?
I'm going to have to go with the Ravens.
John?
I'd have to say the Ravens.
I am also going Baltimore.
Oh.
We are looking like we're going to be tied here after this week.
Oh, boy.
Second game, Panthers at Buccaneers, 1 o'clock on Fox.
You know who I'm going with.
Trish?
Fitzmagic and the Buccaneers.
Who is probably not playing. That's the first upset we've picked of the week. John?
All right, Panthers.
Yeah, that's where I'm going
Please.
to.
The Bucs are on a roll.
Play.
And the next game on Sunday, 1 o'clock on Fox, is the Giants
at the Bears.
taking on the Bears at home.
Bears at the Giants. I think the Giants are going to win that game, to be honest with you.
Trish is the Giants.
Odell's hungry. Eli's hungry. The whole team's hungry.
I think you got to go with the Bears.
John has the Bears. I have the Giants too, but that's picking with your heart right there, not with your mind. I wrote down Bears. I meant to put Giants.
That's where your mind was.
That's how much with my heart I was doing it. At 1 o'clock on CBS, we got the Bills taking on the Finns in Miami.
I think I'm going to have to give that one to the Bills.
Trish goes Bills.
Is Tannehill playing?
I believe so.
You got to give the nod to Dolphins for me.
That's who I'm taking. Which, every time I bet against the Bills this season, it has not gone my way.
Everyone else plays
You probably bet
scared?
against them when the
This
Vikings
is the
play,
game
right?
I want to really focus on. The Colts at the Jaguars. The Jaguars are starting their backup quarterback and without their starting running back.
Okay.
Earlier in the week, they were given a line of -3.5 in favor of the Colts. I hammered it. I put $50 on the Colts to win this game.
I believe that was a good bet because I'm going to say the Colts as well.
And same for me.
I think that the Jags don't have a chance, and if they win, that would be absolutely wild.
So we got Indy across the board. Next game, 1 o'clock on CBS. We got the Browns at the Texans.
I'm going to go with the upset, the Browns.
Ooh,
I think the Cleveland's hot right now, and I think they're gonna keep.
And
rolling.
let me just remind you that Fireman Trish's picks are so hot.
Mm-hmm.
Hot
He
picks,
puts them
baby.
out.
Yeah.
They are on fire. John, who do you have in the Browns-Texans game?
I'm choosing the even hotter Texans, who have won 8 in a row as of this moment.
John claims the Texans are hotter than Trish's picks. I also have the Texans.
You guys are gonna be shocked come next week.
I
I
sincerely
would be.
hope so.
1 o'clock on CBS, we got the Broncos taking on the Bengals in Cincinnati. The Andy Dalton-less Cincinnati Bengals. AJ Green might play, though.
Easy pick for worst game of the day.
Trish?
I'm gonna have to say the Broncos then, because that's just upsetting. Andy Dalton's out.
I say Broncos as well.
And I'm going, we got Denver across the board here. And then the next game,
Not even a contest.
Yeah.
another bad game.
The
1
Rams.
o'clock on 5. This is going to be a bad weekend for football.
Rams are
Rams,
gonna
Lions.
destroy the
Rams
Lions.
are in Detroit, but it's a home game for Detroit.
I understand that. Rams are gonna wreck the
Trish
Lions.
says the Rams.
It's gonna be at least if they can put up 50 against
Rams.
KC.
John's got
I don't-
LAR.
That's not even a question.
And I'm going to
It's-
go Rams, too, because... And then
You're not
Matt
stupid.
Patricia's going to come up with some cliche on why they lost the game in the press
Mm.
conference after. Then 1 o'clock on Fox, we have another bad one. The Cardinals at Green Bay.
Yeah, that's pretty
Trish
easy.
is going with
For me, the
Aaron
Packers.
Rodgers in the pack.
Cheeseheads, baby.
Yeah,
You got it.
I think that's the safe pick.
Yeah, I'm
Give
going
me
with
the
the Packers as well.
A lot of safe picks on this one. A lot of easy matchups, I think, right?
That's what it looks like. And then 4:05 on CBS, we got the Chiefs
is-
at the Raiders.
This is just awful. The Chiefs, man.
So maybe Mahomes will break that touchdown record.
Pat
Give me the
yeah,
Mahomes.
Chiefs.
That's to be the
He's
week to
gonna.
do it.
He's gonna do it.
Nobody likes the Raiders, huh? At home, the black hole.
No.
Okay, I'm taking the Chiefs too. We got 4 o'clock on CBS. We got the Jets at the Titans.
I think the Jets are
Ooh.
gonna win.
I hate to do it to him, but
Trish wants the Jets.
I do. I think that the Jets are really
is Darnold
they're
coming back?
underestimated this
Is
year.
he? Is
I
Darnold?
don't know.
Is Sam
I'll
Darnold
take a look
okay?
For you,
We need to know. Sam, are you okay?
but does it even matter at that
Sam, are you
point?
dead? Questionable.
Sam.
They
Darnold,
don't even know if he's gonna practice Wednesday.
Say Sam Darnold dead? Question mark.
Nathan
So it's
continuously
right now,
optimistic on Darnold.
Right, that says Namath. Right now that's a fine.
What did I
Yeah.
say?
Right now we're continuously
Hold on.
going. We're
What did
looking
I
at.
say?
You said Nathan.
Oh,
So right now, it's looking like the Sam Darnold less New York Jets at the Tennessee Titans.
Then I have to.
Still like the Jets.
yep.
I have to pick the
I'm
Titans.
taking Tennessee.
Watch, I'm gonna get everything 100% correct. Y'all are gonna be crying to me.
Nobody's gonna be
Come
doing
the
that.
next show.
Trisha's gonna go 0-16.
Oh, really?
No.
If I go 0-16, then you guys only get like 3.
Now we got the Niners at the Seahawks. 4:25 on Fox. Trish,
I'm gonna say something a little wild here.
Oh my.
49ers.
you took the Niners.
Nick Mullins. You think he's gonna have a bounce back game? I take it.
I think so.
Bounce
I think,
back game, man.
I
He
think
sucks.
that his last game was a wake up call. That
Wake up
everything
call to
ain't
what?
ain't
To
as
what?
easy in the NFL as he thought
Dude,
it would
he's
be.
lost the last 2 weeks.
That's fine.
A wake-up game to what?
Wake up to what
A
you're
wake up
actually
so that
doing.
they should throw the
Okay,
game and
you're
tank.
taking the Niners. John,
Yep.
what are you taking?
I'm taking the Hawks.
Yeah, I'm taking the Seahawks, too. I think
You
there's no way
guys-
that the Niners walk into CenturyLink Field and beat the Seahawks.
Tony, scared money doesn't make money. I just want to put that
No,
out
but
there
smart
right now.
money does.
No, it doesn't.
We got the Vikings at the Patriots, 4:25 on Fox. This
Oh,
might be one of the best games of the
Finally,
day.
a
Pats
good
are gonna
game.
win.
A good game.
Pats are gonna win.
You got the Pats.
This
That's
is tough.
easy for me. No, come on. Pats are gonna win. They're home.
Yeah, I'll say Pats. It's
I
Foxborough.
think the Pats have looked a little shaky the last few weeks. I'm taking the Vikes.
Really?
I don't trust
You
Cousins.
Vike that.
What?
You Vike that.
Right.
Skull.
It's not like they can start the skull chant
Why can't they?
because they're not home.
So
So you know that away crowd ain't gonna do it. They're gonna throw beer on them before they do that.
you
They're
know if the
Boston
Patriots
fans.
win, they're gonna do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
All
All right.
What are we saying?
8:20 on NBC. Chargers at the
I
Steelers.
think the Steelers are gonna win it.
Why you say that, Trish?
Steelers are home. They got Big Ben still. and I love Big Ben, even though he
Trish's
just threw a
argument
pick.
of the Steelers at home is invalid because didn't the Steelers get? No, they blew out Carolina.
Yeah.
They didn't get blown out.
Yeah, did you see that game?
Yeah.
Everyone thought Carolina was going to beat the Steelers, and then the Steelers went,
I had money on Carolina that game.
You did?
Not in
Oh,
my house. No.
So Chargers at Steelers, John?
I'm going to have to say Steelers. I think they're going to learn from last week and give Connor those touches that he needs on the ball.
I believe that the Chargers keep pace with the Vikings. With the Chiefs. And they win.
Ah.
And then the Monday night game, we have
The Redskins.
the
at
Redskins
Boy.
in Philly. 8:15 Monday night, ESPN.
I'm going to have to say Eagles like we were talking about earlier. I don't think the Redskins are anything special.
John?
Yeah, Eagles.
Eagles across the board, and that's it. So that concludes the first episode. It felt good.
Too Many Men
That
podcast.
felt good. Trish, anything you want to leave us with leaving?
Yeah, I just want to say that
Stop playing with that.
I am a huge NHL fan, and everything I say about the NFL or the NBA right now may seem a little outlandish, but I will learn more.
Give me a
about...
hot take before we go.
Oh boy.
Everyone has a hot take before we go. That's our new
Oh
thing.
boy, my hot take: the Cleveland Cavaliers are going to bounce back huge in the next couple of weeks, and we're going to see a team that looks like they have LeBron but does not, and they're just going to throw up giant middle fingers at LeBron.
Okay.
My hot take?
Yes, your hot take, John.
Bucks in 6 against Golden State.
John with his NBA Finals prediction.
Yep.
My hot take, looking at this, my hot take is that Kirk Cousins will throw for 450 yards on Sunday.
Wow.
Wow.
Big numbers.
Well, that concludes Too Many Men.
Yes,
Hope
it
you'll
does.
tune into us next week when we come back here and we just
I'll
talk
probably be
about
here
all
later
the
this week.
awful picks that we made. Because with our luck, there'll be like 80 ties, and that'll be it.
That'd be wild.
All right, so
All right.
that's Tony, Trish, and John signing off now. Trish, you want to say bye to the audience?
Goodbye, everybody.